Now we're going to cut to interior Kirk Hill's trailer. Kirk Hill is pouring scotch over ice in 2 glasses as the door behind him bangs open. Troutman's expression could slice a steak. Kirk Hill turns to Troutman and says, "Have a drink." Kirk Hill offers a glass to Troutman, who ignores it. "Why?" Kirk Hill sets the glass down and sits at the dinette, motioning Troutman to sit as well. Kirk Hill shrugs. "You got 5 hours. I'll tell you about secretaries of state and funding committees and diplomatic relations." Sorry. Throat's a little dry. Troutman slowly sits opposite him, his demeanor becoming more reasonable. "Take your time," he says. Kirk Hill continues. "Look, Colonel, we're all adults here. This is a war, a very quiet, very intense war. People get sacrificed." Troutman replies, "Not my people." Kirk Hill freezes, glancing down. The muzzle of Troutman's service .45 is jammed into his groin. Troutman continuing, "But you're right, some people do get sacrificed. Now tell me why you pulled the plug." Kirk Hill retaliates. "You think I'm some wacko? I like to hurt people? I'm doing a job here. If I knew what's right or wrong, I'd be goddamn priest, right? So I follow directives. I do what I'm told. It's simple. If your boy would have done what he was supposed to do, there wouldn't be a problem." Troutman continues. Responds, "Don't dance me, Kirk Hill. You'll be walking funny." Troutman leans on the .45 a bit, and Kirk Hill backs into the seat cushion. Kirk Hill replies, "Look, it was a screw-up, all right. They weren't supposed to find anything. We thought the camp was empty." Troutman pauses and says, "This mission was a scam from the word go." Kirk Hill replies, "Word came down. They wanted an answer. And they knew the answer they wanted. No POWs. But it had to look good. Best effort. The whole dog and pony show." Kirk Hill takes a healthy pull from his scotch. Troutman, realizing, continues, "Rambo and Brewer, they were selected as write-offs." Kirk Hill goes to explain. "It was clean, very clean. Rambo was a decorated Vietnam vet, a former POW himself. If he came out and said no POWs, the subcommittee would buy it. He gets himself caught, he's a private citizen, a wacko acting on his own. If he gets proof, it gets lost somewhere between here and DC, alright? But no, Rambo's gotta be a hero. Thinks he's starring in his own war movie or something. He put me in a corner. I had no choice." Troutman chirps up, "Terminate with extreme prejudice." Kirk Hill, "That's a crock. We don't say that. Do you have any idea the shitstorm if we'd gotten back with that guy? If we went public, the White House would have to act through channels. We're talking ransom, $4 billion in war reparations to the Vietnam to get the others back. That's billion, Colonel, with a B, for a few guys that we had their brains in a blender for 10 years. A pain in the ass to everybody. No way. There's no way." Colonel has let the pistol drop until it's dangling, forgotten. It says to Kirk Hill, "So there never was a Phase 2 rescue team?" Kirk Hill replies, "Of course not. You can't get approval to rescue a kitten from a tree after Tehran." What a bastard. After a long silence, Troutman nods. "I understand." Kirk Hill relaxes. "It's going to be okay. The Colonel is one of the boys. Here, drink." Troutman doesn't take the glass. "Reasonably," Troutman says, "I understand your position." Pauses. "I understand how a maggot like you can just slide out of a jam on a trail of slime and call it Expedience. Viciously. Expedience. He says to him viciously. Kirkhill slams the empty glass down. His tone becomes self-righteous. You're out of debt, Troutman. No way. I'm acting correctly here, not you. You're the gung-ho jungle ace. Pause. It's over. Walk away. To which Troutman replies, it's not over. You made the mistake. And what mistake that? What mistake was that? Kirkhill replies. Troutman clicks the safety and reholsters the 45. Rambo. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, alright. Exterior, prison camp, Vietnam Day, D plus 36 hours. Ban Kia, North, NA, Republic of Vietnam. Tight on Rambo. His eyes ablaze, face crusted with dried mud and sweat, wider, revealing him under guard, arms bounded painfully tight behind him, in the back of a troop truck. He is seized by 2 vet soldiers and dragged forward off the truck. DeFavio hits the ground behind him, and Brewer, moaning on a stretcher, is unloaded. His fatigues are matted to the skin by dried blood from hip to knee. Camp Commander Captain Vo Coc Vin strides across the compound. He is fairly twitching with suppressed rage at the loss of face brought on by his useless guards. He screams order as the troops dismount, roughly dragging forward the 3 captives. A Viet sergeant turns the captives over to Chief Guard Sergeant Tran Van Tay with a quick salute. This was a question. See, I would be adding my 2 cents in here and there, but we would be here all day. But this is a question I totally forgot about when I read this last time, which was 2 Christmases ago. I had read the script, getting ready for to do this one in the past, and I could never remember if Tay was in the James Cameron version, because I was also reading the David Morrell version at the same time. So here we see that Stephen Chang himself from First Blood is making an appearance in the sequel. So originally it was intended to have Stephen Chang come back for Rambo 2. So let's drink to that. Okay. So he gives him a quick salute. The instant Vin stops shouting, Tay begins. Like a relay, the prisoners are prodded forward. Rambo walks beside a wide-eyed Brewer. Brewer says, "Are they going to torture us?" Rambo distantly replies, "Yes." Brewer remarks to that, What do you do?" A guard shoves Rambo on ahead as Brewer carries stop at the door of an isolation cell. Rambo, looking back, "Hope they kill you by mistake." What do we do? Hope they kill you by mistake. Great words from a great man here. Rambo's guard slams his rifle butt into the American's belly, half doubling him over. "No talk." Interior isolation cell. Isolation cell. The door to a tiny, fatigued room is opened, and Brewer is dumped off the stretcher and flung inside. He lands on his knees and gasps in pain, clutching his leg. The door clangs shut, leaving stifling room. Brewer groaning, "This ain't happening." Interior, prison camp, prisoners' barracks. DeFavio is helped back to his bunk by one of the other prisoners. There are a few moments in human experience as devastating as the return to prison, especially this prison. The absolute abandonment of hope. Several of the POWs sit near him, silently offering their support. It is evident that the 2 of the men, BG, are autistic as DeFavio, having succumbed to that withdrawn plane long before. Jensen, A prisoner with one leg settles beside DeFabio on his bunk, puts a spidery hand on his shoulder. Jensen says, "We were pulling for you, Dave. We hoped you would make it." DeFabio's eyes focus. The merest spark of the old defiant DeFabio's glimmers wanly. Next time. Next time. Cut to interior, interrogation room, dusk. Low angle on Sergeant Tay, powerful and vicious looking as a rabid ferret. He went back to David Morrell's original First Blood here. Which is a great move by Cameron to read all the source material. He raises one fist holding a length of rubber strap cut from a truck tire and smashes it down out of frame. There is a sickening thud against flesh, tight on Rambo. Grimacing from the blow, there are bored red welts over both collarbones, oozing blood in places. Wider, showing Rambo on his knees at the center of a bare concrete room. A single window admits a shaft of red dusk light, like a spotlight. Rambo sways in the spotlight, glistening with sweat, stripped to his GI shorts. In the four corners of the small room are guards with rifles. Others crowd in the doorway, grinning and jostling the scene. Wham! The truncheon descends again against Rambo's face. He sprawls onto the floor face down, nose streaming with blood. Captain Vin enters with a strident shout, stopping Tay from another blow. The two officers exit at a run, leaving Rambo on his face before the guards. Exterior compound dusk. An unearthly wind and the thunder of several helicopters' rotors fills the camp. Two American-made Huey helicopters descend to lumpy landings near the guard towers. One is a UH-1D slick troop carrier, and the other is a UH-1B gunship outfitted with a pedestal-mounted minigun and M60 door gun. Captured from the ARVN in 1975, both ships bear the insignia of the Republic of Vietnam. Beyond the guard tower, the two Hueys, an enormous helicopter roars out from the settling sun. Running lights and strobes flash as the massive silhouette drops into the country yard, raising a blast of dust. It is a Soviet Mi-24 assault helicopter. Its double blister canopies look like huge insect eyes. The stub-wing weapon pods bristle with rockets and cannons. It is painted with jungle camouflage and bears the red star insignia of the Soviet Naval Air Wing. The Viet officers and guards cringe against the rotor blast as the ship settles. The side door slides open. Dolly back, preceding two Russian officers, who tower above the Vietnamese as they stride across the camp. Vin points to the concrete blockhouse, and the officers stride past him without slowing. He falls in behind them, trying to keep up. Interior, prisoner barracks. Jensen turns from the window as the Mi-24's jet's whine fades. Jensen says, "It's those Russian interrogators again." Everyone looks grim. Interior, interrogation room. Vin sends the gawking guards scurrying with a strident yells as he follows the two Russians into the room. The Soviets stand in front of Rambo. The shorter of the two, Lieutenant Commander Yadi Podovsky, I was wondering what his first name was, has the slight build and unremarkable features of a bank clerk.